I mean, I guess that's the other thing about Italy that we're hearing is it's not just the old that are dying and that are requiring hospitalization. It's also, people in their 30s. So if you're listening to this and you're in this of the mind that this is not that big of a deal and this is just like the flu, and therefore you're going to go to that birthday party, or you're going to go to that large concert or whatever, like don't do it, man. It's bad karma. Number one, let's say it doesn't kill you, but you bring it and spread it to someone who then dies because of you. Like, that can't be cool. And number two, you might be affected in a literal way, in a very kind of fatal way. And number three, here's the other thing. If you cause someone to require critical care and that hospital runs out of critical care beds and they have to make these difficult triage decisions, you've indirectly affected now a third level of people. So let me show you just a little bit of back of the envelope math since we're talking about critical care beds. And I'm going to go much more into detail about my Twitter kind of liner notes, but let me just show you one tweet that I wrote up that I think kind of puts this stuff into stark relief. So let me show you my screen here. So by the way, if you're not following me, I'm at Nerds4Yang. Okay, let's do some math. There are 330 Americans. 50 million, according to the census, are 60 and older. Now, let's assume half of them get infected. Merkel in Germany is projecting 80% of people are going to get infected. But let's be, more optimistic, and let's say only half, not 80%, get infected. So now that means 25 million 60-year-old plus are infected. Let's assume 10% of them need the ICU, 10% of those who are infected. So 90% infected, like they may not need anything. So that's 2.5 million, 10% of 25 million need ICU. 2.5 million. Now, the last line is the what WTF line. In America right now, there are only 100,000 ICU beds. So what happens if in the next few weeks we need not even 2.5 million? Let's say, oh, Tom, your projections you're crazy, not 50% infection rate, maybe only 25% infection rate. Okay, well, then we're going to need 1.25 million beds, right? You're like, oh, come on, not 25% infection rate, maybe only 10% infection rate. Okay, if 10% of 50 million people get infected, that's still 5 million. And if 10% of those 5 million need ICU, that's 500,000. That's 5 times more ICU beds with ventilator option than we have today. And I don't see any government officials talking about this. They're talking about how we want more masks and flattening the curve, which we have to do, but we also have to steepen the supply curve. This is where I am no fan of China, but those people built a lot of emergency hospitals in like record time. And I don't see us building any emergency hospitals. I know there's the 2 ships, the Navy ships, but when I ran the numbers, those Navy ships have about 1,000 beds each, and one of them is going for maintenance. So if you need 2.5 million, ordering one ship to New York Harbor, that's great for a press conference. That the numbers don't pencil out. Any rate, all right. So I'll do more of my Twitter ranting later on, but I have actually more data for you guys. I have the best freaking data. You're going to love this shit. All right, here we go.